What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of the JHO Show. This is really, the culmination of a long year of work. There used to be a show called the JHO Show. We got rid of JBO. You might know her as Jen Bongiorno. She's out, and here we are as the JHO Show, coming to you live from the Meadowlands control room here. There's a lot of TVs. There's a lot of people here. This is going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about some racing at the Meadowlands, maybe some harness racing, and hopefully a lot more other things besides harness racing, because I know that's what you guys want. You want the JHO, and you want JHO's crew, or whoever I'm going to bring in. I'll have special guests every week. We'll talk to horsemen. We'll talk to personalities around harness racing. Mostly, we'll have a good time. We'll talk about what's going on. So if you didn't know, there's racing at the Meadowlands of the harness variety. It comes back this Saturday, 7:15 p.m. post time. 13 races. We got the Kindergarten Classic Finals. If you like to bet on races, which I hope you do, because that's really the best part of these whole circular things with the horses, betting on them, making money, go to tvg.com, go to 4njbets.com. They've got the money back specials on our races 5 through 8. So how that works is you pick a horse to win, you bet on it, and if it comes in second or third, TVG will refund your money up to $10. Pretty cool. So basically just pick a horse you think is live, and if it doesn't win, but it comes second or third, you get your money back. So that's pretty cool. That's a TVG money back special. If you're coming out to the Meadowlands this weekend, first 1,000 fans starting at 6:30 will get the cool Meadowlands calendar. If I was better prepared, I would have had that for you. Instead, I just have PPs with a lot of notes on them. So my bad. We'll work on that for next week. What else do we have going on? Hey, it's Breeders' Cup. That's that big thoroughbred thing that they do. They race for like $20 million. That'll be throughout the day. You can watch and wager on all those races. That'll be a lot of fun. We're not going to talk about the Breeders' Cup on this show. So if you want Breeders' Cup coverage, different Facebook Live show, not this one. But you can come here to the Meadowlands, watch and wager Friday and Saturday. Those races are Del Mar in Southern California. Post time is early afternoon, and on Saturday they will go all the way to 8:35. So we'll kind of mix in Breeders' Cup with Meadowlands harness. So really, that's about what's going on here at the Meadowlands. But what I'm most excited for right now is my first guest. This is a big deal. Like, I really was thinking, who do I want to have as my first guest on the JHO Show? I thought about having Dave Brower, my co-host on our broadcast here at the Meadowlands, and he big-timed me. He was like, hey, JHO, Thursday, 4 o'clock's not going to work for me, so he's out. And you know what I thought? How about my old co-host from last summer? People like him better anyway. He knows more. He's better looking, and he's sweet. He has an awesome accent, too. So I was like, hey, President, General, Captain of the Send It In Army, my man Gabe Pruitt. And so I was like, Gabe, what's up? You got to come on the JHO Show and be our first guest. And as he pointed out, we were going to set the bar really low by having Gabe as my guest, and hopefully we would only improve from there. And look, there he is, live via Skype, my man Gabe Pruitt from an undisclosed location. Where are you, in South Florida? Is that what's up?
I am in South Florida, and it's an honor to be the first guest on this program.
Well, hey, I appreciate that we're able to get you in via Skype. I see you're wearing your Red Mile hat, and I think that's Dodger blue that you're wearing, and I am impressed that you're still proud to be a Dodger fan after last night.
That's tough. That's a good moment. But it was a great season. Win in the World Series. We'll be back next year.
Yeah, I can be a little bit smug about that as a Cubs fan because, we got the job done last year, and that makes us one for the last 2 years as far as I'm concerned.
And that's pretty good, but not this year.
Yeah, this year I think we were eliminated by the Dodgers.
That's right. That's right.
So maybe we're the third best team in the big leagues this year. But hey, it was a good run. It was a lot of fun. I appreciated staying up late 7 times to watch World Series games. So thank you for that. Tell us about South Florida. What's up? Tell us. Pompano, right? What's going on there?
Well, we're getting to roll season, Justin. We're ready right now, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night. We have Wednesday nights on Thanksgiving. So we're really looking forward to another season. Weather's great, and to come visit.
All right, I will definitely come down and visit. I don't know if you're hearing that echo, but maybe turn down the audio on your keyboard. We'll see if we can make that better. I don't know if that's going through, but awesome that you're joining us from Pompano. Very important question for you. We know you're from Lexington originally. You went to UK. You spent the Red Mile meet. You did a great job there. But most importantly, better nightlife, Lexington, Kentucky, or South Florida?
I'm a little biased, JHO. I don't think better in Lexington, so I'm going to that.
All right, Lexington. Okay, that's surprising. I would guess most people would be going for South Florida nightlife. Perhaps better scenery?
You know, it depends. It's kind of beach area, not so much for that. So it's okay. Lexington, you're pretty safe.
Okay, so all right, we'll work on that. I know you're part of the you're the president of the hashtag Send It In Army. It's all about getting people to bet. But I was thinking, you know, now that I have my own Facebook Live show, and obviously I'm going to start having millions and millions of followers on this show, I was thinking maybe this show needs its own hashtag. What do you think of hashtag Get That Money?
Hey, I like it. It makes it stick there. I like that. I think that would be that's a nice thing to it.
So maybe we can put the two together. We can hashtag Send It In, and then we can hashtag Get That Money.
The reason why I stopped at Send It In, JHO, is because I'm looking for sending it in. Getting the money is an extremely more difficult part of the game. So I can send it to the best of them. Getting the money's tough.
Yeah, that's hopefully we can help the folks out with the making the money part. I wanted to, before we get to some handicapping, we will talk about the kindergarten races coming up at the Meadowlands. But how about Breeders' Crown? I know you were driving very safely down to Florida during Breeders' Crown last weekend. I know you weren't going 85, and I know you weren't watching Breeders' Crown on your phone, like you know, doing this thing while you're driving, right?
I was in the mobile OP, I call it, Justin. I was currently watching the Breeders' Crown all the way down on Friday. The first couple of races, I had a friend in the car, so first World Series baseball and Breeders' Crown, all of the. It was a great event. I had a little bit of your coverage on TVG. I thought that was excellent. And I thought the track played very good. Drew Park, what a great host, Breeders' Crown. I hope to see it back with them sometime. And what about the Indiana Brits? And they really made their mark. Step them and go with some of the Grand Circle competition.
Yeah, most definitely. I was super impressed. Beckham Zetam was one of my best bets of the weekend, so I was happy to see him get it done for Team McCumber. What a great story. The 2-year-old Colt Trotter, that was fantastic to see Indiana horse beat Andy and Julie Miller and Jimmy Takter. That was pretty cool in the Breeders' Crown. So all around a great weekend. I was out at TVG, so I appreciate the hosts that they were for me. I had a great time down there. Let me ask you this. I know you did a poll on your Twitter feed at Gabe_Pruitt. Horse of the Year, it seemed like Hannelore Hanover was like the runaway victor, right?
Well, that was certainly an unofficial poll of Senate and Army. But yes, it was no surprise Hannelore Hanover had voted the Horse of the Year amongst the group. But the margin was what shocked me. It was over 60%. I was close with Ariana G and Chico, but Hanover in terms of Senate and Army for Horse of the Year.
Now let me ask you this: if What the Hill would have actually won the Hambletonian, not just crossed the finish line first, and then won the Canadian Trotting Classic and the Breeders' Crown like he did, do you think we'd be talking about What the Hill as the favorite for Horse of the Year?
Honestly, I do. I think that if he had it and held up and a lot more respect, what he's played out, he's probably a notch below the three. But I think absolutely, if he was a Hamiltonian champion, he'd be here in the discussion.
All right, so let's talk about these races here at the Meadowlands this weekend. Saturday night, we've got 4 finals in the Kindergarten Classic. Those races are for 2-year-olds. Purses are about $150,000 and up, and these are kind of those late developing 2-year-olds, so not going to see any Breeders' Crown champions, but we'll see a few horses that raced in the Breeders' Crown. So let's go through our picks, and I got to give people a preview. You and I are pretty similar in who we like in these races. But you can go first. Race 5 will start off the proceedings. Remember, this is the first money-back special race. Kindergarten Classic, 2-year-old filly trotters, full field of 10. Where did you go? Morning line favorite is Basquiat for Jimmy Takter and Yannick Gingras. This horse was 6th in the Breeders' Crown. A limb, didn't make the final. What do you think?
Well, I think this time of year, I like the horses that still seem to be heading the right direction to me. There's no question Basquiat is a very talented filly. It wouldn't shock me to see her win it. Actually went off as the favorite against Joseph in that Breeders' Crown elimination. But flat out badly there. So maybe a chink in the armor. He's a heavy favorite in this spot. I like the 9 Hey Blondie. This is the filly that recently added LASIK. She didn't really fire that well. You know she's much better or very good at the Meadowlands. She was also very good with a Red Mile. So her to bounce back second start LASIK. We know she's got some talent from a good family. Dam is a full sister to Muscle Hill. I'm going to come with Hey Blondie here at decent price.
And you know what? I agree with everything you just said. I really can't even add anything more, which is why we brought you in last summer to the Meadowlands so that Brower and I wouldn't have to work as hard. We could just go to Gabe and have him do all the work for us. So I really couldn't say it any better. I like Hey Blondie. I think the 9-2 morning line, I would sign up for that right now if I could, and I very well might if I go on the Betfair Exchange on Saturday night, lock in that price. But I agree with all those things. She never really got a chance in the Breeders' Crown Final, was shuffled, was locked in, and you kind of saw Andrew McCarthy doing one of these things down the stretch where he's just like looking for anywhere to go. So I think this is a great alternative to Basquiat, and that will be where I go as well in race 5. Hey Blondie, we're both on board there. Let's go to race 7. These are the 2-year-old colt trotters, another full field of 10. You've got Farsetti Hanover on the rail, the points leader in this series, one of 2 for Irv Miller. Where did you go?
Well, I'm going to try to beat Farsetti Hanover off the rail. There's no question he's got some talent. But this is a race, Justin, I'm going to be spreading just a touch. My survivor pick 10. Of course, that I am going to get the 9-7 iron, which had LASIK actually Saturday night. I think that's interesting to know. He still always race better. So I don't really like him. There's New York tracks in the Empire State. Very good in Lexington. Here this summer at the Meadowlands. So a 7 iron for me.
That sounds good. 7 iron, a good use. I will use this horse in the pick 4, the late pick 4, which begins here in race 7. But I gave the checkmark selection to Tito, the second one for Irv Miller. Love the way this horse set a lifetime mark last time at Vernon in the last leg of the kindergarten series. Horse made the New York Sire Stakes final, was 4th. And as Irv said in an article earlier this week, the horse has kind of battled sickness throughout the season, is now finally getting healthy and rounding into form at the end of the year. And I think when we say that this is a series for some of those later developing, later blossoming 2-year-olds, I think this one really fits the bill. And you may get a much, much better price because it's the other Irv Miller one. Farsetti Hanover's been in some bigger spots, kind of has those bigger named races in his PPs, and that sometimes attracts much more attention. So I'll take a shot with Tito, Andy McCarthy. I expect him to have a big night, and if he doesn't, I will lose a lot of money betting on these races. So that's where I'll go. Tito for me. You'll go with 7 iron. Race 8 now. I think we're all on board here, and this is actually a single for me in the late pick 4. This is the Kindergarten Classic Final, 2-year-old pacing fillies. You and I are both going to go with number 6, Kissing in the Sand. Tell us why.
Well, I think she's a slam dunk. Unfortunately, I think she's going to be right in this spot. Really just never got involved in that Breeders' Crown elimination. Got away last there. It's just a tough spot off those fractions. We saw the men play very well tonight, so I'm just tossing that effort out. Kissing in the Sand's been a great circle all season long for Hansen. She's a well-bred somewhere, and not just a clear standout race. Unfortunately, maybe even odds on it.
Yeah, I would agree. Kissing in the Sand's the one for me, too. I mean, just go watch every other race she was in this year and then watch the Breeders' Crown a limb. And one of those things is not like the others, and we'll just put a line through that Breeders' Crown a limb. It's Kissing in the Sand, reunited with Yannick. Remember over the summer when she was just debuting? I remember she was in a race very early in the season this summer where there was a Burke filly, a Tactor filly, and this one. And normally we see Yannick listed on all 3, would either go with the Burke or go with the Tactor. He picked off both of them and went with Kissing in the Sand, and she raced fantastically. So I would say that's another reason why I think this one is very, very good. I know some people will like Rain on Me, hopefully to bounce back off that effort in the Breeders' Crown Final, because everything she did prior to the Breeders' Crown Final would certainly make her a main contender. I'm really curious to know what happened in the Breeders' Crown Final, but it at least has to be a positive sign that the connections are putting her right back in a week later off of that last place finish in the Crown Final. Let's go to the last of the kindergarten races, Gabe. Race 10, the Pacing Colts. Where did you end up?
Well, I'm going to go back to Stired. Well, this is a part of the first Tropical Rock and Roll Dance. And, of course, Grand Teton is the 9. He's a half-brother of Pure Coach, a Breeders' Crown winner. Well-bred colt here. And he just scorched very hard at the Breeders' Creek Elimination. Hoosier Park in a fair trap. He went out there 26 and change, went to the half 54 change. So he had every reason to. But I think in terms of class, he seems to stand out in the field. His previous 8 starts, he hadn't more than 7. So I'm expecting a great experience. Yannick G-Rod gets the first time.
Yeah, again, I agree with everything you just said there. This horse got absolutely scorched in the Breeders' Crown elimination. First time Yannick does have post 9, which is the only concern. I will go a little deep here as the closeout leg in the late pick 4, but I'm going to go fairly narrow in the earlier legs of the late pick 4. So we'll see if we can be alive to several in here. Grand Teton's my pick, and I don't know. Maybe I should be going with number 2, I'm a Big Deal. But, you know, I like to bet on the horses based on their lines, not necessarily on the names, but certainly one that also has a shot in here.
You know, Nicole does have a shot. He's not kept his company stakes action this season. It's going to be a bomb here, just for the team. And I'm going to give a bit of a look at the exotic. Is number 10 Surfing High. Really didn't fire last night every step of the mile. If you go to his Meadowlands start, though, in September, this colt got home in 25-2, beat only a half length there by North, who's going to be a fairly short race in here next. So I think if you're swinging for a bomber and the pace scenario sets up right, then Surfing High is a horse that can make some noise.
All right, I like it. That's so that's the 10. We both like the 9. So we've given you 4 winners on the card on Saturday night. I think that's a pretty good public service that we've done here. What the folks who are looking to see you more down at Pompano, how can they get in touch with you and give us the racing schedule at Pompano if they'd like to hear your very attractive voice call the races?
Well, if they would like to follow me on Twitter, I'm typically constantly tweeting about the races. I'm going to be well informed if you do follow me on the here. We're racing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday currently. Again, we had Wednesday nights, and then we'll actually pick up nights in December. We'll actually 5 week through to the winter.
All right, that sounds awesome. I appreciate you joining me. Gabe Pruitt, the general of the Send It In Army, joining us live via Skype from Pompano in an undisclosed location, but I hear it's a nice condo because when you're the president of the Send It In Army, somehow you're able to afford a nice condo in an undisclosed location in South Florida.
Well, we have to have soldiers in and out, of course, in the winter, Justin, so I have to make it big enough to accommodate the people involved in the Send It In Army. So everyone's going to pop in and visit, but come get with us for a couple.
All good. Well, go down to Florida if you're watching this. Go see Gabe at Pompano Park. Hopefully we'll see you next summer here at the Meadowlands. If not, we'll just Skype you and put you on that way. But thanks for joining us, and thanks for being the inaugural guest on the JHO Show. And for being the inaugural guest, you get a thank you from me. So thanks a lot, pal.
That's excellent. That's plenty of excellent work as always. Tell everyone here at the TV department I said hello on Saturday night. Good luck.
All right, so that's Gabe Pruitt from Pompano joining us here on the JHO Show. I had a list of things I wanted to talk about in the show, and I've now talked about all of them. So that means that this show is winding down here. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll be back every Thursday at 4 p.m. unless I'm not here. I'm going out of town at some point, so maybe you'll miss the JHO Show for a couple weeks. But that's how we're going to roll. I'll have special guests every week. We'll give you some picks, and we'll talk about some other things. So it's the JHO Show. It's my show. It's on Facebook Live, and we thank you for watching. We'll see you next week right here. Did I mention it's called the JHO Show? It is. We'll see you later.